can't believe I'm driving this thing. Welcome to another episode of the Kids Media Club podcast. You will notice show dad, Andy, he's away on holiday. So the girls are in charge and I'm trying to drive this console.
You just did it. You
Do you know what? I'm sure some people do assume that we all live together.
Yeah. Well, no, well done.
But yes, show dad, Andy, who does have his own wife and kids, has gone on holiday.
Yes. Our executive vice president of technical is on leave, so we are doing our best to do the technical in the meantime. But well done, Joe. Congratulations.
Oh, the stress. I've got a bit of a sweat. I have to fan myself. But whilst Dad's away, well, I mean, it was going to happen anyway, but let's face it, it's an opportunity for Emily and I to dive into K-pop Demon Hunters and really indulge our nerddom in terms of what is really, well, minutes. I'm going to let you dive into the stats in a minute, Emily, but really the breakout hit of the summer. And it's not even had a theatrical. We'll get into that. But gee, it's a real phenomenon. So we're going to dive into K-pop Demon Hunters today. We've got everything. YouTube,
first of all, Joe,
Netflix, its presence on Roblox.
First of all, welcome to the Kids Media Club podcast. I'm your host, Emily Horgan, and I'm here with Joe Redfern. That's what you're listening to right now, not just the usual chaos. Joe Redfern is literally fanning herself, and we're here talking about the breakout kids hit of the summer, K-pop Demon Hunters, which we have already discussed on the show. But when we knew that, well, not when we knew Andy was going to be away, but when we were let loose on planning the agenda, we said, well, Dad's away, let's get into the data in a deep way. So that's what we're here to do. And it's a great time to do it as well, because K-pop Demon Hunters had its biggest week on Netflix last week, which was announced just in the last few hours. So the movie has had a slow start on,
which is great, because I've kind of, sorry, Emily, you've got a bit of a lag for me, so if I jump over you, I do apologize.
That's right.
But bit of a win for me, because it was my big bet last week that it still had growth in it. So we're what, week 9, week 10?
We are. I've got the data in front of me. I just need to get up the week number. We're actually week 11.
So week 11, and it's still growing. It just had its biggest week. That bucks the trend and the decay curve of all the movies you track, right?
That's absolutely right. So K-pop Demon Hunters started low at 9.2 million weekly views. And then it bounced up to 24.2 million. And it has been on average from weeks 2 to 10, it was on average 25.2 million views a week. So it went from 24 to 22 to 24 to 25 to 26 to 26 to 25, 26, 25. So very consistent. This last week, it has actually jumped to 30 million views, but we need to get into it because there is a little bit of tomfoolery at play here. And it's actually nothing new. So this week, following the cinema release, K-pop Demon Hunters released the sing-along version of the movie on Netflix. So technically, it's 2 instances of the movie, and everything I've been told is saying that 30 million is an aggregate number of those 2 instances of the movie, which technically are 2 pieces of media, technically would usually be split out. And we've seen it split out for something like My Little Pony sing-along before. So they're aggregate, they're pulling them both together, which is smart, definitely smart. The worry if you had disaggregated them would be that neither of them would have made the top 10. Which would have been, not very great for the media storytelling of it all. But also, it's actually nothing new, because this reminds me of the simulcast strategy that we used to do on Disney back in the heyday of High School Musical 1, 2, 3, Camp Rock 1, 2, where we would take, it's kind of the same principle. We would take the movie and we would broadcast it on Disney Channel, Disney XD, and Disney Junior at the same time to make the biggest number possible for premiere, and obviously to roadblock and to signify to our audience that this is the biggest deal of the year. But the sing along, this is kind of like, it has whispers of that to it. So like, although it's there, some people might call it sneaky, it actually is nothing new.
Those people calling it sneaky are the kind of analysts that take numbers on face value and go, well, they're playing the numbers and they've split it. I would take it from the fan point of view. there's two different versions. One's the sing-along and one isn't. And you put those numbers together and it's a bigger number than last week. Does it mean any fewer audience are watching and enjoying this phenomenon? No. So at the end of the day, it doesn't matter whether it is a little bit of jiggery-pokery with figures. At the end of the day, this thing is verifiably still growing, still being found and loved and watched and rewatched by millions and millions of people. So at the end of the day, I think, you know what? Yeah, it's one of those things. It's a tactic, but it doesn't take away from the fact that it's still gaining audience. And if it's not new, there's still a ton of rewatch going on. I'm on my third viewing. I don't know about you.
I'm on my sixth. Yeah, no, definitely. And I think your point there about fans, do fans really care? Like, you know, it's all of us analysts losing our minds about the, you know, the accounting of the performance. But bottom line is this film was watched more in the last week than it ever has been watched before, and that's in its 11th week on Netflix streaming, which is phenomenal. So we're also very excited to see the Nielsen numbers. So I referred to these a little bit last week as well. So K-pop Demon Hunters is gaining on Nielsen. It's gaining quite significantly as of the last week. Nielsen numbers run about a month after date, whereas Netflix numbers run about a week after that date. So we won't see this sing-along impact for another 3 weeks or so. But K-pop Demon Hunters broke 1 billion weekly minutes viewed on Nielsen for 2 weeks in a row, like having modest uptick, but that is again not something we've seen before. So although Encanto Encanto is the one that people are kind of comparing it to, because Encanto has the soundtrack factor, and it was it was kind of COVID theatrical release. Although Encanto had a bigger moment at launch, it hit over 2 billion minutes viewed the second week of launch, because it had a full marketing campaign. You know, K-pop Demon Hunters is starting to approach where Encanto was in week 7, 8, 9, and it's not softening; it's still building. So yeah, I'm very excited to see where the viewership goes. I'm very excited to see how those sing-along numbers impact the US viewing, because US viewing, when we're able to look at things on a single market level, it's a little bit purer. We're able to kind of look at the signals that are in that market, as opposed to being a global number where it's subject to lots of different things. So yeah, I'm excited to see what that can bring, because it definitely feels like, you know, this movie is majorly resonating in the US specifically as well. So yeah, viewership is climbing. It went up again. Yeah, that's very, very exciting from my side.
Before we get into even more numbers and data, I think let's just dive into why creatively we think it's worked. Now, it's K-pop. We know we've been talking about K-pop and anime for a while in terms of its rise in popularity in the West. We've got music, good music. Oh, I went down a really deep music rabbit hole yesterday with deconstructing the songs. Did you know that the song This Is What It Sounds Like, songwriter, musician, producer, did a breakdown of it, and how perfectly constructed it was for teenage girls in terms of the spotlighting of the words in the chorus. So talking about broken glass and million pieces and scars and darkness and harmony. Those words are strategically placed just at the right moment for them to be spotlighted, which speaks to you as a teen girl. Even went down into the song construction, and the harmonies go up in half kind of harmonies. So your ear always wants to go to the next full bar, not the half bar. So you listen to the end of the chorus and you get that payoff. It was so brilliant. This is what TikTok delights me in. And it was such a brilliant deconstruction of how those songs were made to be listened to over and over. That's got to have an impact on viewership, right? You just mentioned Encanto. We all sang Encanto songs for months afterwards.
Yeah, definitely. Oh my God, you went really deep, didn't you? And I have gone deep there too. Yeah, and like what it sounds like, in my opinion, is like, I think what it sounds like is better than gold. And I know we've had this discussion before. So, you know, like I just think that song is kind of slept on. And I have seen some of the details. I've actually seen, and it wasn't the songwriter who wrote it. It's one of my favorite TikTok music analysts. He's like a musical music analyst. I like analysts of all shapes and sizes, it would seem. what he was talking about in Golden, that if you isolate Rumi's line, in Golden, it's like her musical line is actually very minor, although the way it's arranged around the harmonies makes the song is major, but actually, and it's all this deep storytelling of like Rumi's line in Golden, she's hiding herself, she's hiding what she really is, and all about that. Yeah, the detail that's put in, it's awesome. It's not patronizing, it's deep, it's thoughtful, it's Taylor Swift songwriting kind of vibes, right? Like that's the whole point of this, and that's why I think K-pop Demon Hunters has been as successful as it has, because it's not patronizing. It's just good content. It's universally good. Yes, it's family friendly and kids love it, but it's open to everybody to love, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, absolutely. And another TikTok musical family that came up on my For You page. Again, this is talking about how the fandom now is spreading. It's moving out from the core. And there was a TikTok of a dad and his family. Dad is a rock musician. He walks in on his kids watching K-pop Demon Hunters, and his guitar is there on the sofa, and the kids are going, "No, Dad, don't do it, don't do it." And he's thinking, we need a rock version of this song. Cut to him and his band in the garage doing a heavy rock version. And now that's proliferating on my For You page. So again, we're seeing this kind of extension of fandom outwards, which then bears out the rise in the numbers that we just spoke about. That's when you know you've got a hit on your hands, when things start bleeding outwards, when your musician dad is doing a rock cover. You see makeup tutorials now of how to do the K-pop Demon Hunters look. I mean, we're in the middle of something really special. You spoke about lightning in a bottle. And do you know what? We should never really try to figure out lightning in a bottle, because where's the fun in that? But I feel like we're really in the middle of that lightning in a bottle moment.
Yeah. No, it's absolutely huge. And I think it's like the impact of it, the impact of it wasn't foreseen, right? Like, and that's something that we got into last week a bit. I mean, the opening week performance of this movie strongly suggests that there was no major marketing campaign for it. And there's other signals that back that up too. It wasn't majorly spotlighted at Annecy by Netflix, and they did a whole animation dog and pony show. So it feels like nobody saw it coming. There's evidence to suggest that nobody saw it coming. So pure lightning in a bottle, it definitely is. And I think that's something that's really interesting. And then the question is like, what do they do now? And we've gotten into this. I wrote this up on my newsletter a few weeks ago, and I'm kind of smugly sitting here ticking off my bingo card saying, yes, I said cinema, which happened. Yes, I said sing along, which happened. The other thing that's happened as well, and ironically, it was about 4 days after I said that they should do it in my newsletter, but I'm not going to take, I'm not taking responsibility or ownership of it. But a few days later, they set up dedicated K-pop Demon Hunters Netflix social handles. They hadn't been set up before. So there's an Instagram. Last I checked, it's over 100,000 followers, and there's a TikTok, which is at nearly 350,000 followers. So those are both set up, like 3 weeks ago. And so they're kind of like they're establishing this as a franchise for the future, and with those kind of dedicated moments. But the other thing I did go looking for, which I couldn't find, was a dedicated YouTube channel for it, because this is something else I'm seeing by the numbers, is the impact of K-pop Demon Hunters, a lot of the music obviously on some of the YouTube channels that it sits on has been really, really phenomenal. So I found K-pop Demon Hunters content across 3 different channels. So it's Netflix Family, which is the Netflix oldest viewing YouTube channel, was called Netflix After School. It was called Netflix Futures, right? Like it's that kind of older viewing kid YouTube channel that's been rebranded as Netflix Family fairly recently. So it was doing around for the last year, let me just get my numbers here, it was doing around 100,000 views a month. And the arrival of K-pop Demon Hunters has catapulted it to 350 million views in the last couple of months, which is a 300% increase. Sony Pictures Animation, so the Sony YouTube channel, obviously they held some of the right to do this, or it was part of the strategy. So that was averaging around kind of 9 million views a month. What percentage do you think that one's up?
This is, remind me, what was channel?
Sony Pictures Animations.
Oh, yeah, huge. Over 1,000%.
Nearly 5,000%, 457,000%. So again, it's gone up from around 10 million views, or like under 10 million views, around between 5 and 10 million views a month, to 360 million views in July. And the other place where K-pop Demon Hunters content is on YouTube is Netflix K content. So they have a dedicated K content YouTube channel.
Yeah,
it has things like Squid Game on there, right? And Squid Game has obviously also been very recent and relevant in on Netflix in the past few months. That the Squid Game season 2 launched in 2 different tranches, and that was sitting at around 40-50 million views a month, and has gone up again to 287 million views in July between Squid Game 3 and K-pop Demon Hunters. So yeah, the impact on YouTube, which I know it's obvious, but it's important to put numbers around it, is really quite profound.
Yeah, it's something that I've been tracking on Roblox too, as you know, and since week 2 or 3, since it started popping on the radar, I've been going on a daily basis, searching K-pop Demon Hunters, seeing what kind of fan-made experiences are popping up there. Well, important to point out that Next World, the Netflix world on Roblox, did feature K-pop Demon Hunters, so they did activate on there. That was done with intention, and it did very well on there. The other place it's popped up in an official capacity is in Roblox's The Block, which is their music venue. Music, very important to Roblox this year. There's going to be a huge number of music activations, I think, coming up on Roblox. But this past weekend in The Block, it was K-pop Demon Hunters sing-along. Big sing-along party in their music venue on Roblox. Really, really successful. But outside of that, my standard, my temperature check, my bellwether of what IP is popping is always the number of fan-made games on there. So 3-4 weeks ago, I messaged you and Andy on our little group chat that they were up to 14, 15. Then it went up to 20. When I checked yesterday, I counted over 80 K-pop Demon Hunters fan-made games on Roblox. Now, very often the fan-made games, you'll have a ton of them that are inactive. There'll be a handful that are the ones that really resonate. What was interesting is I was taking screenshots of all of the K-pop Demon Hunters experiences, and most of them had got active users in. The top ones then are, so K-pop Demon Hunters roleplay, 5,500 in. K-pop Demon Hunters in The Block, the music venue, even though the weekend's event had finished, it still got 1,500 in. K-pop Demon Hunters Speed Clicker, the genre of game that's just all about speeding up and racing, 5.3 thousand in that. 1.9 thousand in K-pop Demon Hunters Quiz. Guess the K-pop Demon Hunters. I mean, this is the interesting thing. There is so many genres that has now popped up. You've got the role play, you've got the sing-alongs, you've got the dress-up, the avatar outfit creators, the speed clickers, the quiz, the survive the K-pop Demon Hunters, the slightly horror kind of escape type of game. Obbies, everything. You has now got a K-pop Demon Hunters version on Roblox. So again, where we talk about this expansion, the elastic sides of an IP when you know it's really gained traction, it's in evidence daily on Roblox. So I'm going to do a deep dive on it. But currently, if you aggregated all of these together on a daily basis, you've got millions of users on Roblox that are engaging with K-pop Demon Hunters. And again, that has a halo effect of then going to search it on YouTube or then going back and rewatching it on Netflix. So the flywheel is truly spinning with this thing. So yeah. I think it's there's no sign of it slowing down. What do you think?
Come here to me, you now, and answer me this. So are there loads of developers who are around and have essentially like a white label version of a clicker game, maybe an obby, maybe an escape game, like an outfit game, who basically are just like, what's hot right now? Yeah. Let's just swap in those assets. That's how that works, right?
Yes, 100%. Yes, there are established genres and gameplay and game loops on Roblox that people love. They come back to time and time again. They'll be a fan of them. So yes, super easy to reskin one. Some will go a little bit further and they'll make it more bespoke. That will make your game sticky. But actually, there is some that will just go and reskin their existing portfolio. That you have developers who are experts in a certain genre and they don't really create outside of that genre. It may be that they do just create quizzes or obbies, and that's what they'll do. But not dissimilar to YouTube, I guess. You've got genres of content on YouTube. You've got watch-alongs. You've got reaction videos. It's very similar on Roblox, but that's why it's such a good indicator of how popular and how big the fandom is, because a lot of these developers will be fans themselves, but also they're so attuned with what is popular because they want their games to attract that stickiness and that user retention. So they're the ones that also slavishly follow trends. And if they start reskinning their games with K-pop Demon Hunters, again, that's another indicator of its popularity because it means that it's going to be sticky.
Yeah.
Don't forget, developers on Roblox are paid for how long users stay in their games.
Yeah. Okay. Understood. Right. And then talk to me a little bit more about the music thing, because I saw K-pop Demon Hunters in Next World. They were playing the soundtrack in Next World, like, and that's like that music integration. Like, what would that sing-along party have looked like from a user perspective? Did you manage to catch anything on it?
I did. So I'll send you. I think it might have changed now. Actually, I'm just searching as we talk. It was kind of like. It's ended now. You went in and you sang, and basically the power that you generated as going in and singing the song as users helped you defeat the demons. So very simple game loop. All go in together, sing together, have that communal moment, singing the songs, and then that kind of increases the power and helps you fight off the demons. Pretty simple, but pretty compelling. Took place all weekend.
Sealing the hormone was
exactly. Yes, you have to seal the hormone. Yeah. Interesting how there are such allegories with Honmoon. Honmoon being this concept of fandom and how it ties you together as a community. And that is exactly what they drew out with that experience in the music venue on Roblox. Go in as a community. We know that co-play and doing things together is a really big driver of retention on Roblox. So all go into this music venue together, sing together, and you can gain enough power to fight off the demons and seal the Honmoon. I mean, it was such a great way to go in and then play K-pop Demon Hunters in a place like Roblox.
Yeah, and then so when you're saying sing, is that like users typing in the stuff, or are you like singing into your computer screen? Like what's the 101 of that?
You can. Do you know what? I didn't go into it, but I'm assuming because you can talk, you can communicate on Roblox. You can have a chat with your friends, so you can sing. Yeah,
so fun. There's something else you touched on there as well.
Next time we'll have to go in together.
Yeah, it's a date. There's something else you spoke about there about the fandom element of this, because that's another thing that I think there was a good article on this about, like, there's a huge fandom around K-pop Demon Hunters, but the irony is like K-pop Demon Hunters is a film about fandom, right? And the Honmoon is a film about fandom and bringing fans together, and the energy that communities can bring to the world, basically, which is very kind of meta, actually. Think about it.
Yeah, really meta. But it was almost a whole generation of teenage girls and boys, but kind of going, thank God they've seen us. What it means to be a fan in 2025. Yeah. You look at your phone. Even the fickleness of t-shirts. There was that one bit where you've got someone who's in a Huntrix t-shirt and they pull it off and it's Saja Boys underneath. Just the wry nods to what it's like to be a fan, driven by attention, driven by how you've got to be everywhere, but it can come and go in an instant. I mean, it was actually quite a wry take on fandom, which I thought was really interesting. But the fact that it was also, and again, you mentioned Taylor Swift earlier, it did pull a lot of the same levers that Taylor Swift pulls, in that, I see you, I'm here for you kind of thing. Even those words we were talking about in what it sounds like, when you're a teenage girl and you're in the angsty kind of period it is. It feels like your heart shatters into broken glass and a million pieces, and you've got this darkness, and you've got harmony with your friends. I mean, it was just so perfectly pitched, and it feels it almost didn't realize how much we were missing something like that until this came along.
Yeah. Oh, that's very poetic, Joe. The other thing I would say in terms of like in terms of the product then, because they came out with the Funko Pop. I mean, they're in reaction mode. People have said it's Netflix's Frozen moment. They've said that in a very beautiful, nostalgic, and sentimental way. But I would again point out that Disney's Frozen moment was Disney caught with its franchise pants down. So they're moving on product. The Funko Pops are out. Netflix.shop, which is Netflix's proprietary space, very much still feels like the Forbidden Planet layer. It feels like do you know what it feels like? It feels like when you go to a concert and all the merch is like super expensive for what it is, right? And that it's kind of cynical. I don't love that. I mean, there's some really, really good product on there. Like they've done well in terms of like, making product for the fans and not just character slapping stuff. So there's like one particular jumper which I fell in love with that I have sent to my husband, which is like it's Mira's polar bear jumper, where and it's not branded at all. It's just the polar bear jumper that she literally wears, and it's amazing. They also have
so cute. Yeah,
they also have Rumi's teddy bear and train pajamas, which is just like obviously is referenced in the film. So like I love how well they've done. They're not character slapping the product, but the product is really expensive. You're talking over €80 for a pair of jammy bottoms. That sweatshirt as well is €80. Like it's not a mass consumer product play from Netflix.shop anyway. So I think it's going to be interesting to see how they manage to eke this out into the licensee model.
Interesting. We were chatting earlier this week about Primark and how Primark are very good at their licensed ranges. And I would be very surprised if this didn't land in Primark as soon as they could possibly make it happen. They've just done Happy Gilmore, which was another successful movie for Netflix. They did a range of Bruins NHL apparel in there, which is what Adam Sandler wears in the movie. And so I would be very surprised if it didn't turn up in there. That will be obviously much more cost effective, and Primark do really well with those licensed ranges. So I wonder if this play on Netflix Shop is the print on demand, slightly higher priced. It's for those who absolutely must have something now. And then they will be rushing, in the apparel space, they will be rushing to put something together, I imagine, for the likes of Primark. And then in between times, the Funko Pops. And I'd be surprised if there wasn't a QSR kind of food promotion in the works, particularly if you could bring ramen into it. So who knows? But, that's, I imagine prior to Christmas, there'll be something.
Yeah, I do. I think there was a ramen integration. I can't remember the name of the company. I'm not sure if it's a UK based one. Because it didn't resonate. I was like, who are they? Let's Google them. So that's and that's what I was going to push you on was timeline, because like what they need to do is get Primark to turn this around this side of Christmas. And I think Primark could do that if they wanted to, and they should want to, because this is big.
Really? Yeah. I'd be surprised if they couldn't do something. Yeah. Even just a small capsule range. But the gifting around Christmas time, that's too big an opportunity to miss. If they could possibly get a small range launched before Christmas, that is going to be every parent's and grandparents' go-to if they've got a preteen or a teenage granddaughter.
What about the husbands? And the husbands, Joe? And the husbands. That's coming to my script.
And 50-year-old women.
Cool. Well, listen, any other numbers that we didn't get into?
No, I've been more or less focused on well, apart from the fact that obviously we've spoken about the music and it has been atop the Billboard charts. I believe that more than just Golden are topping download charts. So again, it's the kind of thing, I turned on Radio 1 the other day and Golden was on. You've got a hit on your hands when it's on Radio 1. So if we could aggregate, this is something that we should be really doing. Just pulling together the Netflix, the YouTube, the Roblox numbers. Maybe we could find some download stats. I mean, it would be fascinating to see it all together. A real anatomy of a hit type stuff.
Yeah, okay, let's get on that. All right. In the meantime, really good chatting to you on this today. Andy, we miss you. We hope you're having a great holiday. And do you want to do the sign off, or are you going to leave it to me to do?
And sorry for butchering the intro. Emily, I'm going to let you do sign off. See if you can do it, because I'm clearly a bit rubbish at driving this console thing.
Okay, thanks a lot for listening to the Kids Media Club podcast. Catch us on all major podcasting platforms and on TikTok and on YouTube. And we will see you again next week when things will hopefully not be quite as chaotic as they are today.
Thanks for listening. I'm going to press stop now.